Is Israel morally obligated to provide electricity to Gaza? Israel provides a huge amount of electricity to Gaza, which has been all but shut off at this point. Obviously, from a moral perspective, innocent civilians in Gaza shouldn't be intentionally hurt. But is there a moral obligation for Israel to continue supplying electricity to Gaza? I do think Israel and Egypt are morally obligated to allow, even provide, the basic necessities to flow into Gaza because they are enforcing a blockade. The blockade is meant to stop weapon smuggling and militant activity, not starve civilians. There are innocent people in Gaza and they shouldn't be harmed. One innocent life taken can't really be justified or explained away. I don't buy the "well, Hamas killed civilians. Israel shouldn't be criticized for killing Palestinian civilians. It's just a bad take. Food, water, electricity, medicine should all be flowing into Gaza for the innocent sake. As the occupying power, Israel has a clear obligation under international law to ensure the basic needs of Gaza's civilian population are met, said Amnesty International's Secretary General Agnes Callamard. The blackout has plunged the Gaza Strip into darkness and will exacerbate an ongoing humanitarian catastrophe. Is a prison obligated to provide electricity to its prisoners' cells? Or would we just consider it fine to lock people in and then turn off the power? Israel has declared war on Hamas, in more than just a rhetorical way. So that adds a dimension on any moral standard that is being applied. It's a war crime to militarily blockade 2.2 million people from their access to electricity, fuel, food and water. The UN in 2020 described the Israeli government's blockade of Gaza as being in violation of human rights and international law. You can talk about a moral obligation, but the key here is that it defies human rights and military rules of engagement. The power, water, and food supply into Gaza has been under the control of Israel for decades. The population cannot enter or exit its open-air prison without the permission of its prison guards, who wear Israeli army uniforms. Can you see now why Gazans are in revolt? You can't lock people in a cage, bomb their power plant, then say you have no moral obligation to provide them with electricity. Not popular opinion, but maybe if Hamas had taken the billions of aid money over the last 15 years and built their power and water infrastructure instead of tunnels for smuggling rockets, things would have been different. What right do they have to shut it off? That's the real question. This only furthers the criticism that Israel is running an open-air prison in Gaza. It's effectively an open-air prison. So yes, you're not allowed to build a prison and then not provide electricity and food. At least not while you're taking billions in US aid. Well, I don't know. What would your opinion be if you lived over there and you had nothing to do with the Hamas attack? The people screaming that these are war crimes are not entirely wrong. Yes, they are due to the fact that there are plenty of civilians stuck in the zone that cannot leave. Of course, I don't see how this is in any way arguable. They occupy the land. They must provide basic necessities. They have every ability to do so. So that's not an excuse. We have international laws for a reason. Should Israel continue to kill hundreds, if not thousands, of women and children? No, it should not. It will. And the West will cheer them on and insist they have the right to do so. Because that's what's been happening for decades. No, nor is targeting electrical plants during wartime a war crime. The U.S. routinely destroys power plants as part of military operations. As does every country in every war against every enemy. The U.S., for example, destroyed most power in Baghdad during both Gulf Wars. Any country is free to begin sponsoring evacuation vessels from Gaza. And Egypt is free to evacuate medically compromised Gazans to Cairo or elsewhere. Nobody is doing it. Hamas has lost all moral authority and support among even other Arabs. As occupiers, they are morally and legally required to provide all the basic resources: food, water, electricity expected of a modern society. Oh look, Israel is exterminating Palestinians in the name of terrorism. I'm sure every single person is a Hamas terrorist from babies to grandma. Is Israel morally obligated to provide electricity to Gaza? X200b. Hamas has taken moral obligations off the table. Yay, I don't know what the Geneva Conventions or international human rights groups particularly say about denying whole populations of water or electricity, but if I had to guess, it might be against basic form of human rights. Unless Israel is at war with all of 2.1 million Gazans, that move is foul. Until Israel abolishes its Gazan concentration camp and allows for those held there to be able to freely buy their own fuel and electricity generating plants, Israel is morally obligated to provide their necessities. Yes. If you are on the subject of the morality of Israel proving things for Gaza, I'd think that you would want to ask about the status of food, water, and medicine that is not provided even before the Hamas invasion. Yes, there are 2.5 million people living there. Many children. It's not just electricity. It's supplies and water, medicines and so much. People forget that Gaza is in Israel. It is not an independent country. It is totally controlled by Israel. They are responsible for the well-being. Israel doesn't feel it has a moral obligation to any other country. They do not prescribe to the Golden Rule. To those who say the Palestinians aren't responsible for what Hamas has done, I say Hamas didn't spring up out of nothing. Every member of Hamas has family amongst the Palestinians. Family that loves them, supports them even if they themselves shrink from violence. Like the KKK in the American South, the Palestinians are the agar in the petri dish from which the Hamas mold has grown. Israel is morally and legally obligated to end its occupation and apartheid. Provides? They are blocking 2.5 million between their army and the sea. Unfortunately, Moses ain't going to show up to split the sea in two this time and give Palestinians a way out. The few border checkpoints are all blocked by the Israeli army. Israel in the first place shouldn't even have the right to regulate what comes in Gaza. Especially good medicines, gas, water, electricity. It's not their territory. Don't mistake that as a gift from Israelis. I think when someone launches terrorist strikes on you, you are morally responsible to provide them nothing. No. Israel is at war with Hamas located in the Gaza Strip. What Israel should do is annex the Gaza Strip into Israel proper. Have the IDF advance across Gaza, arresting every male between the ages of 1550 for interrogation for crimes against Israel, and provide safe conduct for all women and children to the West Bank enclave. Depopulate, relocate Palestinians from Gaza and resettle Israelis in the Strip. Is there a moral obligation for the recipients of Israeli power to not support Hamas? No. Gaza should stop stealing from its people to attack Israel and should be caring for its people. Where do terrorists in Hamas and Hezbollah come from? Yep. From these innocent people. After what the savages did, all bets are off. Israel is morally obligated to supply all humanitarian aid to Gaza after the hostages are released. I am sorry. This is like the UN demanding the United States not to react after 9/11.